So I'll introduce Fortinet real quick, and then I'll get into the presentation over here. So Fortinet, we're a leader in enterprise-class cybersecurity and network innovation, and the company was founded over 20 years ago. We have the largest integrated portfolio of enterprise-grade products and services, anything from threat intelligence to endpoint, secure networking to cloud, and then everything in between. Fortinet's an American company. We have a global footprint, and we're also in the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100. Today, we're going to talk about protecting the financial services institutions against advanced threats while optimizing cost, efficiency, and then moving from a reactive to a proactive cybersecurity posture. So why are financial services companies so high value target? So one of the main reasons is because of the amount of data that is stored and transmitted within our industry. You know, this data is personal information, account information, transaction history, and other sensitive information like that. And this data is really valuable to cyber criminals. They use it to commit fraud, they use it for identity theft, and many other financial crimes. Another reason that we're targeted is because of significant financial resources that we manage. And criminals are always looking for ways to steal money. And this includes stealing funds from customer accounts, initiating fraudulent transactions, and always attempting to hold financial institutions ransom for money. We're also one of the most highly regulated industries out there. And everyone on the call, firsthand, it makes it very difficult to move and implement new security measures. And we need to protect against ever evolving and sophisticated threats. And you know what? The adversaries know this too. So in my role at Fortinet, I get to work very closely with our threat intelligence and research division, FortiGuard Labs. And based on the current trends that we're seeing in the wild, some of the most significant threats that we're facing in financial services are third-party risks and supply chains attacks. And this is like where attackers are targeting our suppliers and our vendors to gain access. The vendors may not have the same level of security controls that we have in place, and it can lead to attacks to the vendor systems or vulnerabilities that get introduced into our system. And we also have insider threats, everyone knows, like phishing attacks, and we have to mention ransomware. In my opinion, ransomware is really just a symptom of poor cyber hygiene. One of the biggest factors for the increase in threats that we're seeing in our industry specifically is what I like to call crime as a service. Those are things like ransomware as a service, and that allows attackers to use already developed tools to execute attacks, and they really need little to no technical expertise. Some of you may have been aware or impacted by this, the latest attack on Ion, the global financial software firm. They waited until month end when it was the busiest. Banks were unable to process trades, and it took several days to resolve. And that was also done with ransomware as a service. It was Lockbit, is the one that's very popular. You see it in the news all the time now. We're also seeing a lot more automation in things like money laundering. The bad guys are doing things like chain hopping, and it's converting from one currency, cryptocurrency, to another. And they do this multiple times and in different amounts. So it really makes it a lot harder to trace by traditional blockchain analysis, and really decreases the probability of recovering these stolen funds.
Hey, Michael, one interesting thing, this is Ron Gerber. Someone suggested to me that I should set up Devilbeat, not Angelbeat, but Devilbeat, because there is literally a whole industry out there where I could do webinars for cyber criminals, and you could learn about how to deploy ransomware as a service. It's a scary world out there. We don't do Devilbeat, but I encourage everyone to follow up and see how Fortinet can help ensure that you're not subject to this increasingly scary threat landscape.
It's increasing. They're getting more sophisticated, and it's tough. We have to defend everything. They just have to find one hole in the system. So financial services firms, I think we have an advantage too. We've always relied heavily on data, making decisions around trading, risk management, and credit decisions. So information security, there's often many point products, and they don't really share the contextual information. So problems we're seeing and we're helping to solve, it's the ability to perform data-driven decisions around cybersecurity, just like you do with your risk. We're seeing more consolidation and convergence of cybersecurity and network point products, plus a lot of open API ecosystems. And that allows the point products to communicate with each other. And it allows you to leverage a consolidated data set. And you use that set to proactively manage risk and implement your overall security posture. So this allows you to use automation on top of that once you have a consistent set. And that really can help your team with repetitive, more the low value tasks that often consume their time. So really what it'll do, it'll act as a force multiplier, or it'll enable your team to be a force multiplier. So you can do more with less. And you can perform things that were impossible without automation. And one example is finding hints in data across 3 different systems that all look benign, but in aggregate would have alerted them to an action they could have taken, or something they could have done to prevent it further. So how do we help our clients with this? So moving from reactive, proactive cybersecurity posture is essential for any company that wants to stay ahead. The threat actors are evolving, and you really need to too. So a reactive approach to cybersecurity means waiting for an attack to happen, then responding to it. Whereas a proactive approach involves identifying potential threats and vulnerabilities before they can be exploited. This is a topic I know people are a little sick of hearing, but artificial intelligence and machine learning, they're buzzwords. They've been beaten to death, especially with ChatGPT, as Henry mentioned earlier. But we've been using these in cybersecurity for well over a decade, these kind of technologies. For this, I just want to refer to it as automation. And really, it's just used to improve threat detection, reduce things like false positives, and then enhance your team's response time. So one of the main advantages of automation, it's really the ability to analyze large amounts of data quickly, but also accurately. So this means identifying patterns, anomalies, things like that would indicate a cybersecurity attack. A real world example for everyone is like analyzing network traffic to detect unusual behavior. Peak behavior at different times that was usually quiet, like 2 o'clock in the morning. It's also used in log files to identify suspicious activity. And by analyzing the data in real time, your algorithms can quickly identify threats, but also more important, they'll alert the security team to take action. Unknown threat signatures, and then also behavioral-based models. So one of the challenges of analyzing large sets of disparate data, it can really generate a lot of false positives. And these alerts can waste your team's time chasing down false positives, things that are benign. And that could lead to them missing real threats. But automation can also reduce false positives by learning to distinguish between legitimate activity and suspicious activities. And the algorithms can analyze your historical data of other companies that are similar, and identify patterns of past behavior, and patterns of legitimate user behavior as well. And that really helps reduce the number of false positives. Then in the event, if you do have a cyber attack, response time is critical. Obviously, the faster your team can respond, the more quickly they can contain the attack and prevent any other damage. So automation can help by automating certain tasks and providing real-time alerts to your team. For example, algorithms can use to, they can quarantine infected system as soon as something's detected, block off all access to it. They can also be used to send alerts to your security team when any kind of suspicious activity is detected. So by automating these tasks, security teams can respond quicker to threats, and it can minimize the damage. I always think of it like a lane detection warning in your car that analyzes all the data and sensors around you, and it just alerts the driver when they need to take action. So this is kind of a similar concept to that. One thing around automation I really want to stress, it's not perfect. Hackers are consistently evolving their techniques, and systems may struggle to keep up with these changes. And that's where your security team is critical. And I want to stress again, automation is not designed to replace your staff, but the goal is to amplify their output. So your professionals, they provide valuable context to algorithmically generated insights and alerts, but more important, they have institutional knowledge, and they can use that assets to assess the severity of threats and then determine what the appropriate response is for that. They can also investigate incidents that have been flagged via automation, and that's to determine, whether they're genuine, false alarms, and which in turn, that also goes back and trains your algorithms. It's a continuous loop. I always say security is a loop, it's not a line. So you got feedback mechanisms. So your team's going to improve the accuracy of the system by identifying any patterns and trends that may have been missed. And then they use this information to also refine your algorithms. They can ensure that the system's making decisions based on the most up-to-date information, and it's not being misled by incomplete or inaccurate data, or actors using automation to kind of mimic real behavior. So again, I want to stress your security team can provide valuable context. They can improve the accuracy of the auto-generated insights and then proactively search for potential threats that may have been evaded by the automated systems. So by combining the strength of both human expertise and automation, you can create a more robust and secure cybersecurity defense. So the question we get most often is, how can this automation technology be deployed within your current ecosystem without a complete rip and replace? So what Fortinet has is a cybersecurity platform, which is a fully integrated across endpoint, network security, cloud, and everything in between. But the important thing is we know that we have to work with everything else in your organization. You have significant time and money investments in technology. And to you, there's zero benefit for any kind of siloed approach. So that's why Fortinet's products and our solutions are designed to integrate with your existing investments. And you don't need to deploy the entire suite of products. We also have an open API. And we built the largest ecosystem in the industry. And we have more than 500 partners. We have technology partners, threat intelligence partners. We have tools for DevOps, and then we have partners for automation, which allow you to really take advantage of the system. And that allows all of the data to be viewed holistically. And your firm can apply automation to move from a reactive to a proactive security posture. And that's just really one example of Fortinet's dedication to supporting our customers and building integration and automation. It's regardless of who you're working with. And I want to thank everyone for your time. And if you want to learn more about how Fortinet can help leading financial services companies protect enterprise, please reach out, and my contact information is below. Thank you.